Yeah, dear distinguished participants, now we are starting the session of today's afternoon session. Our resource person, Dr. Rupesh Kumar, has already joined the meeting. Now I'd like to welcome him to all of you. Dr. Rupesh Kumar A is an assistant professor in the Department of Studies in Research in Library and Information Science at Tumkur University, Tumkur. He holds bachelor's degree in commerce, master's and PhD degrees in library and information science. Rupesh Kumar secured first rank in his master's degree with 2 gold medals in 2004. In the same year, he qualified UGC NET with a Junior Research Fellowship. He served as full-time guest faculty at Bangalore University from 2004 to 2007. Later on, he joined OnMobile Global Limited, then it was a subsidiary of Infosys, as a content management executive, and he obtained expertise in delivering mobile value-added services. In 2008, he joined Government First Grade College, Kanakapura as librarian. He was appointed as an assistant professor at Tumkur University in May 2010. Since then, he has served the university not only in academic capacity, but also in several administrative capacities. Apart from his teaching and research pursuits, Rupesh has served as Deputy Registrar, Academic, Syndicate, General and Development Sections. As the Nodal Officer for Sakala Services of Government of Karnataka, Nodal Officer for All India Survey on Higher Education, and Rashtriya Uchchata Shikshana Abhiyan. As the Special Officer, he has redesigned Tumkur University website and has successfully implemented open journal systems software for 2 online international journals published by Tumkur University. He has authored 1 book, edited a few conference proceedings, and published and presented 24 papers in national and international conferences and journals. He was an expert committee member for Digital Knowledge Repositories, project of the Department of Public Libraries, Government of Karnataka. Some of his papers have received Best Paper Award at conferences. His areas of interest include library automation, digital libraries, web content management, reference management, e-learning, and scholarly writing. With this introduction of him, I would like to request him to take over the session. Sir, over to you.
Thank you very much, Ram, for your kind and eloquent introduction of me. Very good afternoon to all the participants who have joined this session from across the country, from different parts of the country. At the outset, I am thankful to the management of PES College of Engineering, Mandya, especially my good friend Kodan Ram. Also to Dr. Ayaran Gowder for referring my name to this program. Thank you very much. With that, let me begin an interaction with you on a very pertinent topic for researchers, authors today. Cite while you write. Reference management using Mendeley. The first part of my session will be a presentation. The later part will be demonstration, and much of my session will be consumed by demonstration. Therefore, let me quickly come to my presentation. So, reference management is an underexplored, undermined area. Many research scholars, many authors deem that reference management need not be acquired by each author as a skill. Many don't bother, don't care about reference management, but perhaps after going through this session, you will understand how important reference management is in writing and publishing. And secondly, you may also understand how easy it is to manage references in scholarly writing using a software called Mendeley. Let me share my presentation with you. Ram, can you confirm me whether it's visible?
Yes, sir, it's visible.
Yes, thank you. Right. So first, As a researcher, as an author, it's important for all of us to understand certain rudiments, certain fundamentals. Without having clarity of the fundamentals, it's not advisable to plunge into the application. Therefore, let me discuss for a while on rudiments in reference management. As you all know, scholarly writing is very different from general writing or writing for popular media such as newspapers and magazines. One of the key features, one of the key characteristics that we come across in scholarly writing is insistence on including reference to each and every source from which an author or a researcher or a scientist has borrowed some idea or some content. So this evidence-based writing has been a characteristic of scholarly writing, which has made itself distinct from other kinds of writing since ages. So I will take into consideration only one part in the process of scholarly writing, that is managing references to sources. No author can claim that all the content he or she has created so far is original, that of his or her own. As a researcher, right from the stage of idea generation up to publication, we may borrow content, we may borrow idea, concepts from several other sources. We are not barred, we are not forbidden from borrowing, but as an ethical responsibility, whenever a researcher or an author borrows content or idea or concept from some other source, it is important to cite that source. Now, let me come to the first term that we often come across in scholarly writing, that is citation. Citation. What is a citation?
Sir, unmute yourself, sir. Rupesh, sir.
Yeah, so a citation is a specific source that an author mentions in the body of his or her academic paper or scholarly paper. In the context of this discussion, the phrase academic paper or scholarly paper should be understood in a broader sense to include all kinds of scholarly publications ranging from books up to thesis, dissertations, technical reports, etc. So a citation is basically an attribution, a dedication to the source. An author, for having borrowed some content or idea or concept from some other source, acknowledges the creator of the source by mentioning the name of the creator and giving the details of the source in his or her text. A point to be remembered, an important point to be remembered is citation always appears inside the text of the paper. If you are a PhD research scholar in the process of drafting your thesis, then you must understand that all citations appear in the text of your thesis chapters, in the text of your journal article, in the text of your conference paper, in the text of your book or book chapter. So that's citation. Citations are always in text. They always appear within the text at appropriate location. The second term that we often come across in scholarly writing is references. References mean a list of sources which have been cited by an author in a paper, in an article. For instance, in the text of your article, if you have cited 10 different sources, then at the end of your article, at the end of your thesis chapter, book chapter, you may give the list of 10 sources. So the number of unique citations and the number of entries in the list of references should match with each other. If you have not cited a source, you cannot include the details of that particular source in the list of references. Therefore, every source that is listed in the references at the end has to find a place in the form of citation in the text. So references appears at the end of the text, or in some styles, in some cases, as a footnote on the page where the citation appears. Okay, that's about citation. That's about references. Another term is bibliography. Many research scholars, many authors seem to be under the impression that references and bibliography are synonymous. It is not so. They are different, and they have to be different in the sense that references include the details of the sources which have been cited, whereas bibliography includes the details of such sources which you have consulted, but you have not borrowed any idea or concept or content from that particular source. But you have been indirectly benefited by consulting these sources by way of strengthening your understanding or by way of enhancing your knowledge. Therefore, it becomes your duty to acknowledge these sources also by listing them under the heading bibliography. So references is a list of sources cited. Bibliography is a list of sources consulted, but not necessarily cited. So there is a difference in the use of terms. There is a difference in the very nature of lists. And the fourth is further reading. Apart from list of sources cited, list of sources consulted but not cited need to be acknowledged as a list. There may be another list which an author wants the readers of his paper to consult if additional information on the concept is needed. The author himself might not have consulted these sources, but wants his readers to consult these sources in case additional information is needed. So consulting these sources which are listed as further reading is not critical for understanding the research problem that is being discussed in the present paper. In case a reader wants to have an extended reading, extended understanding of the concept, then the sources listed under further reading may be consulted. So these are the different terms that one as an author or a researcher must be aware of, must have clarity on before engaging in reference management. Okay, now let's move on to a flow chart, a simple flow chart as to how to decide whether a source should go to references or bibliography or further reading. Take a source, consider a source, put a question on it. Have I borrowed any content or idea or concept from this source? If the answer to this question is yes, then cite that source at an appropriate location within the text of your paper and add all the bibliographic details as an entry in a list references. Supposing you have not borrowed any content from this source, but you feel that you have been benefited by consulting this source, then add this source to a list called bibliography. If you have neither cited nor borrowed any content nor have been benefited, but if you want readers to consult these sources in case they need additional reading, then enter this particular source details under a different heading called further reading. I hope now you got some clarity on these terms, very rudimentary terms that we usually come across in scholarly writing and in research in general. So if you are a research scholar, if you are drafting thesis and if your thesis has 5 chapters, let's assume, references should be given at the end of each chapter. So references are chapter specific in a thesis. That means all the sources which are cited in chapter number 1 have to be given as a list of references at the end of chapter 1. So on, chapter 2, 3, and so on. But bibliography and further reading appear as an appendix after all the chapters. It is only additional material. So appendix A or appendix 1 can be bibliography, appendix 2 can be further reading. So I hope as a researcher, you got some clarity on what terms to use in what context. Let's move ahead with some examples. Here, in this paragraph of text, I have marked certain parts in red colored rectangles. These are citations. These are in-text citations. If you carefully observe the different elements which form part of a citation in this example, you notice that the author's names are given and a year has been given. This is the year of publication of the source that has been cited. The names are that of the authors. You see Lancaster and Stillman, Kupperschmidt, Name and Lenka, Twenge, and here you see Love et al. And NG et al. This is formatted according to an internationally accepted style called APA style, which I will be introducing a little later. So author's names and date. This type of style is called author date style. When the number of authors in a source crosses 2, that means if there are 3 or more authors, then the words et al. Are used along with the last name of the first author. Therefore, we can say that this particular source has more than 2 authors, and this particular source has more than 2 authors. So et al. Has been used. Fine. This is in-text citation. Let me also give you another example. Have a look at Roberts 2000. Do you think it is different from other citations which are marked in red colored rectangles here? Do you think it is different in any way? Yes, it is different. Since the audience has been muted, let me answer. It is different as compared to other citations which are marked here, because the name of the author here, Roberts, is not enclosed in brackets. Only the year of publication of the source is enclosed in brackets. Therefore, this is also a citation. This citation is called a narrative citation, an inline citation. Inline citation or narrative citation. Why is it called a narrative citation? It is called a narrative citation because it forms an integral part of the statement that is made here. If I ask you a question, supposing I remove Roberts 2000 from this sentence, will it be a complete sentence? No, it will lose its completeness. Whereas if I remove the other parenthetical citations, Cram 1985, Scandura 1992, they won't affect the flow of the statement. It won't affect the completeness of the meaning of the statement. Many a time, particularly in review of literature, we tend to use such narrative citations, running citations, inline citations, where citation becomes a part and parcel of the narration being made by the author. So we understand that we'll have parenthetical citation after the borrowed statement, after the borrowed content, borrowed idea, we'll give parenthetical statement, parenthetical citation, or it can also be a narrative citation. Here is an example of references. If you carefully observe the order of arrangement of entries in this list, you notice that the arrangement is in the alphabetical order of the author's name, the first author's name, first author's last name. So This is references. This is bibliography. You observe that there is essentially no difference in the arrangement of entries among references, bibliography, and further reading. Suppose I take out the heading. If I'm given only 3 lists, if I take out the heading, I will not be able to figure out whether it is a list of references or bibliography or further reading. So the order of arrangement is the same, but whether you have cited it or not, whether you have been benefited or not, whether you are suggesting the readers to read or not, is what makes the list different. Okay, after having understood all this, we should also understand that at the international level, at the global level, there are certain common referencing styles which have been developed as a matter of convention over decades. So I am listing only a few internationally well-known citation styles or referencing styles. There are many, many more. Apart from these styles, journals particularly follow their own in-house style, which may not be either APA or MLA or Vancouver or Oxford or any other style. They might have developed their own in-house style. There are such styles as well. So let me take you to the next slide, which is more informative. If you look at the differences between these styles, APA style, American Psychological Association style, though originated in the field of psychology, gradually spread to other areas of social sciences. Today, all areas of all subjects in social science, the discipline of social sciences, actively use American Psychological Association style. In this style, citation is given within the text in author date style. Author of the source, author or authors of the source, and the date of publication, mainly the year of publication, are included in a citation in parentheses, in rounded brackets. If specific page number is to be given, then page number also may be included within the citation. All the details, complete bibliographic details, are given at the end of the text, at the end of the paper, under the heading references. MLA, Modern Language Association, is another popular internationally renowned style. It is used in general in humanities and particularly in languages. There are slight differences in the way citations are given and references are given between APA and MLA style. Even in MLA style, citations are generally parenthetical. Author page number format is used. You may notice that date is excluded. Then the list of cited sources is named works cited instead of references. So there is a difference in the nomenclature. The third very well-known style is Vancouver. Vancouver is used in general in natural sciences, even sometimes in applied sciences such as engineering, biomedicine, computer science, etc. This is a style which follows numerical citation. Numerical citation. When I say numerical citation, instead of certain bibliographic element in the citation, a number will act as a citation. Numerical citation styles. The list of sources cited is called references, even in Vancouver style. But the order of arrangement of entries will be the order of their appearance: 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. The list is numbered. Oxford, also numerical, but not parenthetical, not given in brackets, but given as a superscript. You understand superscript. The algebraic equation a squared plus b squared has number 2 superscribed above a and b. The way of giving references may be as a footnote on the same page where the citation occurs, or at the end as a reference list. Harvard, parenthetical, author date, page number, references, not much difference between Harvard and APA. Then Chicago or Turabian style, popular in history, literature, and art, and some other subjects. Numerical, superscript, footnote, or as an endnote. IEEE, very popular in engineering. It is numerical style given in square brackets. Citation is given in square brackets, and reference list is generated at the end. MHRA is relatively a new style. It is popular in humanities, English language, literature, other languages as well. Numerical superscript citation and reference is given as a footnote on the same page. This is an illustrative summary of some of the internationally renowned citation styles. But the moral of the story is an author cannot and should not format a citation and a reference as per his will and wish. There are styles specified for subject areas, for several contexts. Therefore, we need to understand the nuances of each style before following those styles. Okay. Now let me come to the practical part. Why should we bother about citing and referencing? Why should we care at all about citing and referencing? Firstly, it is an ethical practice. You as an author have the ethical responsibility of paying respect, paying gratitude to each and every source from which you have borrowed information. Secondly, citing and referencing reflects good research culture, good writing culture. We authors, we researchers, we scientists as a community are imbibing in ourselves good research culture. We are disseminating the same, we are percolating the same into the other researchers also. Thirdly, very importantly, citing and referencing help in creating impact for one's research and publication. You borrow some idea or content from some source, you include a citation and you make a publication, and the cited author will get some impact points. These impact points are counted as number of citations received. I'm sure you must have had a session by now on research impact metrics, or you will be having in due course in this program. So research impact creation is made possible by citing and referencing. Secondly, research impact measurement as of now is possible only through citations as of now. There's no other way. Therefore, every author should consciously engage in the practice of citing and referencing. Okay, now how do I engage in citing and referencing? There are two possibilities. Number one, you can do this manually. You can learn the rules of one or more citation styles or referencing styles and prepare citations and references manually. This is cumbersome, this is time consuming, and given the fact that we want to dedicate much of our time for content creation rather than having to worry about managing the references, this is not advisable. Of course, basic understanding of the rules is a must, but fully engaging oneself in reference management may not be affordable now. Therefore, software assisted reference management is advisable. So using a software to save the references that you want to use in your writing and including them wherever you need and in the form of citations and generating references. And you as a researcher at any point in time can even generate a working bibliography. A working bibliography is a list of sources that a researcher is presently consulting, reading, studying. So at any point in time, dynamically, you can generate working bibliography. Okay. So coming to the softwares for reference management, Microsoft Word, the most commonly used word processing application for preparing scholarly publications, has an inbuilt citations and bibliography feature, which has certain limitations. I will not be dwelling upon this particular thing, though my presentation has all the screenshots. I will share this presentation with Ram after my session, who in turn will be sharing this with all of you. At leisure, you can study, you can practice. So Microsoft Word inbuilt tool is always available. There are other dedicated full-fledged software used for reference management. I'll name a few. This list is only illustrative, not exhaustive. Zotero, Mendeley, then JabRef, RefWorks, and EndNote. RefWorks is provided as a commercial service, and so is EndNote. So I'll exclude them because for a researcher like me and you, software such as Zotero, Mendeley, JabRef should suffice. Okay, so Microsoft Word, all the screenshots are available. I'll skip all this, but I want to point out its limitations. There are two major limitations. Number one, the details of all the sources that you want to cite have to be manually typed. You have to manually type. Nowadays, as you know, most of the sources researchers use are available online. So a researcher will naturally get a question, get a craving as to why can't I import the bibliographic details of the sources that are available online instead of manually typing. That is not possible in Word inbuilt tool. Secondly, the internationally renowned styles, which I listed in one of the earlier slides, they keep getting updated from time to time. But Microsoft Word may not dynamically update the styles as and when a new version of the style is introduced. This is another limitation. So we have to transcend beyond the Microsoft Word citations and bibliography tool and start using a full-fledged reference management software. So in this session, I would like to introduce to you a software called Mendeley Desktop, which you can use to easily capture, organize, use, and reuse, use in multiple documents any number of times, references to different scholarly sources. So let's get started with the demonstration. My presentation ends here, though my presentation file has many other slides. That's only for your leisurely reading. I will skip my presentation and I will now move on to the demonstration. Okay, so I hope my screen is visible to you. Ram, is my screen visible to you?
Yeah. Yes.
Okay. Now, as you can see here, I have opened the Google Chrome browser. Google Chrome is the default browser on my computer. You may have some other browser as default browser. So I have signed into my Google account. Okay. Just to demonstrate to you the creation of online Mendeley account, I have signed into my Google account. Okay, let me first take you to Mendeley.com. Okay, Mendeley.com. If you already have used Mendeley, recently you might have come across a small change in the way Mendeley is offered. Okay, let me share that with you. This is the homepage of Mendeley.com. Mendeley.com is a service provided by Elsevier, a very reputed scholarly content provider. Mendeley.com acts as an academic and social networking platform, which means that it allows users to collaborate, to interact, to discover the publications, the research material, the data sets uploaded by other researchers. Also, upload one's own research contribution onto Mendeley online account. So Mendeley.com is an academic and social networking platform. As part of its franchise, Elsevier provides a software for managing the references. On the home page itself, you can see create a free account. When you create an account with Mendeley.com, you can upload your research publications, your working papers, your data sets onto Mendeley. Also search and discover the data sets, the publications uploaded by other researchers on Mendeley.com. This is a major platform where researchers share their research. They interact with other researchers with similar interests. Now that we will take up later, we will now focus on reference management tool provided by Mendeley. I'll directly take you to download section here. You have the download, you see the download button here. If I click on download, I'll be taken to Mendeley download, reference management download page. I must bring to your attention the recent change, or I can say recent addition here. Mendeley Reference Manager is different from Mendeley Desktop. I'm using two different names here. Mendeley Reference Manager is different from Mendeley Desktop application. Mendeley Desktop is a standalone software that you are going to install on your computer, and you can synchronize your documents. You can keep a local copy of the document in Mendeley Desktop, and you can synchronize it with the Mendeley online account. Whereas Mendeley Reference Manager is only a local software interface for Mendeley online account. Okay, that means there are certain features which are yet to be integrated into Mendeley Reference Manager as compared to Mendeley Desktop. Since I want to manage the references locally, I will prefer Mendeley Desktop. Therefore, I will not be downloading Mendeley Reference Manager. I will go for Mendeley Desktop. Okay, so here you can see Mendeley Desktop is still available. It will continue to be available, and it will have seamless integration with Mendeley online account as well. So I'll click on Learn More, and I'll be taken to Mendeley Desktop download page. Okay, so I will download now. Remember, I'm downloading Mendeley Desktop for Windows. Of course, I'm using Windows. If you are a Linux enthusiast or a Mac OS user, you may download appropriate version. So download Mendeley Desktop for Windows. A dialog box will appear. I will download this on the desktop. It's about 55 MB. It's downloading. Once I download, I'll straight away go for installation. Installation is pretty straightforward. There are no twists in the installation. You need not make any special configuration during installation. Okay, now here I've got Mendeley Desktop 1.19.8 installer file. Once I install Mendeley Desktop, I no more need this. I can delete this. Okay, I'll double click this, and there is a warning. Run the file. Okay, so user account control warning. Click on yes. Okay, welcome to the Mendeley Desktop setup wizard. Next, agree to the terms and conditions. Okay, this is the location where Mendeley Desktop will be installed. Click on next, start menu, install. It will take a while for Mendeley to install. Now, any software should have certain integration mechanism. What integration mechanism can we expect Mendeley to have? Number one, Mendeley should be able to capture, save, import references from various web pages, various online locations. So as you know, we generally use a web browser to visit a particular website where a book or a journal article or a report or a conference proceeding will be available. If not full text, at least the bibliographic details will be available there. So once I visit a particular page where the details are available, I should be able to automatically capture the bibliographic details from that particular online location. This is one type of integration. Integration with the web browser, integration of Mendeley desktop software with the browser. The second type of integration you can expect is, okay, I have saved hundreds of references from various websites into my Mendeley desktop software. Now I want to use them. I am composing an article or a thesis chapter using Microsoft Word. So there has to be an integration between Mendeley desktop software and Microsoft Word. So two types of integration you can expect: integration with web browser and integration with word processor. Okay, so this is what we are going to see next. Completing the Mendeley desktop setup wizard. Now you can see run Mendeley desktop checkbox is enabled here. If I click on finish, the installer will finish its job and Mendeley desktop will run on my computer for the first time. Okay, so I'll click on finish. Let's see what we get. And you notice that on the desktop, we have got Mendeley desktop shortcut. It may take a while for it to run for the first time. Okay, I think I already had Mendeley, I had used Mendeley. So let me sign out from this account. Okay, fine. Assume that this is the first screen that I get when I run Mendeley. It is asking me to enter email and password. This is not your general email and password. You need to enter email and password of your online Mendeley account. For that, you need to register. Now here you have got register. Okay, remember when I visited the home page of Mendeley, it prompted a button, create a free account. It is same as that. So if I click on register, I will be taken to Mendeley registration, Mendeley online account page. Okay, so I already have 2 accounts saved here. So I'll click on use another account. Okay, so I will enter Atul FTP PSCE at gmail.com. You can enter your Gmail account, your account, your email account. I'll click on continue. Elsevier will check whether it already has an existing account with Mendeley. If it does not have, it will present a simple form which you can fill out. Okay, given name. Okay, so you need to set a password. This password is different from your email account password. Okay. Okay. So you can choose to stay signed in. Okay, if it's a personal computer, you can choose to stay signed in. Let me click on register. Okay. Welcome. You have an Elsevier account. Continue to Mendeley. Okay. Now you see this is your online Mendeley account. This is online Mendeley account. You can search for articles. You can add articles to a place within your account called Mendeley Library. This includes collection of articles which you have saved. Or you can also go to your profile. You can add your publications. Okay. It is possible to even search for data sets. Now that I have created an account in Mendeley, so I can expect a mail from the Mendeley team here. Okay. So Elsevier identity, welcome to Elsevier. Okay. So that means I have created an Elsevier account by using Mendeley. Fine. Now let me go to the software. Here is the software. I will use the same account which I just created in Mendeley online. And the password which I gave, which I defined for Mendeley account. So I can stay signed in. If you don't place a check mark for stay signed in, every time you close Mendeley, open again, you may have to log in. Sign in. Okay. Very carefully observe. Reference Manager is installed. Reference Manager is the software, Mendeley desktop software. The second installation is citation plugin for Microsoft Word. As I said, there needs to be an integration between Mendeley and Microsoft Word. That happens through a citation plugin for Microsoft Word. So let's click on install now. Okay, now the status is updated. Citation plugin for Microsoft Word is installed. I will close this. One integration has been achieved. One integration means integration between Mendeley desktop and Microsoft Word has been achieved by installing citation plugin. Secondly, I said there has to be an integration between Mendeley desktop and the web browser. I'm using Google Chrome as the web browser. In your case, it can be Microsoft Edge or Mozilla Firefox. I doubt whether Mendeley has an integration with Microsoft Edge. So it's yet to be seen. But Firefox and Google Chrome are supported. So I'll just close this tour. And this is the interface of Mendeley desktop. You can see that here you have got a menu, file, edit, view, tools, help. And here you've got a list, all documents recently added, recently read, favorites, my publications, and create folder. Okay, and create group. So you can edit the settings. Now, I will first install the integration extension between Mendeley desktop and my web browser. So for that, I will click on tools. I will click on tools and I'll use the first option, install web importer. Install web importer. I'll click on this and my default browser will open. And I can see that, okay. So here I have come to get web importer for Chrome. If it is Firefox, it will show get web importer for Firefox. So I click on this button. It'll go to Google Chrome Web Store. And here is a button, add to Chrome. So I click on add to Chrome. It'll ask your permission. Click on add extension. It'll take a while to download the extension file and install and integrate it with the web browser. Now you can see that it is installed. Okay, fine. So if I close this, then I see that the red button, Mendeley Web Importer red button, becomes hidden. So for that, I'll click on this extensions button. And here I see all the extensions that I have installed along with Google Chrome. Mendeley Web Importer has to be pinned. Okay, I'm going to pin this to make it visible all the time in the bar. So now it becomes visible. Okay, this is the Mendeley Web Importer. I'll click on this. It will try to log into Mendeley online account. It is logging in. Here is a small window. So if I click on this, perhaps I may have to go to a site. So let me try it a little later. Now the integration is taken care of. First, you install Mendeley Desktop. Once you open Mendeley Desktop for the first time after signing in, you will find the citation plugin installation option. You will install it, and then you will come to Tools, click on Install Web Importer, and you will install Web Importer in your default browser. Let me open Microsoft Word to check whether the integration is successful or not. Okay, I'm using Microsoft Word 2010. So let me go to references menu. And in the references menu, I see here a new section, Mendeley Cytomatic. Mendeley Cytomatic. So this is the section which you are going to use to insert citations and to generate the list of references. Okay, fine. So let me go to Mendeley. If you want to simply capture the references, it's very easy. You can search for any source. Okay, let me search on reference management. Now I don't have any of these any of the references saved. Okay, first I consider myself as a research scholar. As a PhD research scholar in the process of drafting my thesis, I am going to make different folders to organize my references. Okay, fine. So here you have got create folder option. So let me click on create folder. I get untitled folder there. So I'm going to type chapter 1. All the sources which I want to use cite in chapter 1, I'm going to save in PhD thesis chapter 1. I can organize like this: PhD thesis chapter 2, so on. Together with that, I am also writing an article to be submitted to a particular journal. Let's say my journal article. There's a specific folder which I made for journal article, meaning that all the references which I want to save, which I want to use in a journal article, I want to save in that particular folder. Okay. Apart from that, I have got all documents and my publications as well. So you can, if you upload your publications onto Mendeley online account, it will automatically appear here. Okay. So let me go to some, let's say, source where I can find some publications. Okay, so let me go to, say, Google Scholar. Okay, let's assume that I'm writing an article on, say, reference management practices among engineering research scholars. This is the topic on which I am writing an article. Let me generate a random text for making a quick demonstration. And in this is my article. I have written some text. And in this, let's assume that I have borrowed some content. I have paraphrased. This is from source number 1. And let's say this is from source number 2. Okay, let me mark it with a different color. Okay, so for the sake of demonstration, I'll take into consideration only 2 sources. Okay, let me find out the sources. Okay, so This is a Google Scholar search result page. And in this search result page, I have clicked on Mendeley Web Importer. Let us wait for a while. Okay. Please see that Mendeley has detected 11 references on this particular page. If you want to save into Mendeley any one particular reference, let us say comparison of select reference management tools. This can be done in two ways. Number one, you can simply place a check mark and you can click on add to Mendeley. It is added. Okay, fine. So let me sync it. Okay. Maybe. Okay, fine. So now you see that I've got one particular reference saved into Mendeley, and as soon as I synced it, it is basically saved in Mendeley online account. As soon as I hit the sync button here, it starts appearing in my Mendeley desktop. This means that I can save one particular source into Mendeley, which automatically stays on my Mendeley desktop account, or and in my Mendeley online account. You can access it from wherever you want. Okay, I have saved one source. Not only is it possible to save one source, it is possible to save multiple sources at once in one shot. Let's say 1, 2, 3, or you can select all. Okay, 4, multiple, add to Mendeley. It will take a while for Mendeley to fetch the details and add it to online Mendeley account. And I get the references. Okay. Now, these references will remain in your Mendeley online account or your Mendeley and your Mendeley desktop account. Supposing you want to change your computer, you want to access your Mendeley on some other computer, on office computer. Today, this is my home computer. I want to access the saved references from Mendeley from my office account. No problem. You can install Mendeley desktop on your office computer, sign into Mendeley using the same account which you are using on this computer, hit the sync button here, synchronization button here. All the references which are saved in Mendeley online account will automatically be transferred to your Mendeley desktops application. Okay, fine. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 saved references, of which 1, 2, 3 references along with the bibliographic details. The file is also available. So a PDF icon is displayed here. If I double click the PDF icon or anywhere on the saved reference, the PDF will open. So this Mendeley has got inbuilt PDF reader with annotation with highlighting facilities. Okay, you can place a note wherever you want. For instance, you are doing a review of literature and you want to mark a particular part to be used for your further writing. So you can highlight a part, or you can select a part, place a note. Okay, use this in literature review. Okay, you have left a note here. Okay, so when you come to Mendeley desktop library, okay, see if you, which one was that? Reference management. Alphonse Mace. Yeah, this one. Okay, so you okay. Document details. If you look at notes here, whatever note you have made, whatever annotation you have made inside the document will start appearing here. Okay, use this in literature review. This means a particular part in a particular paper. So annotation is possible, highlighting is possible. This helps you in picking important parts by marking the important parts within the saved documents instead of going to a local copy of the document and then again finding that particular part. So a ready organizing of ideas is possible in Mendeley Desktop. Okay, so this is how you can open a full text which is saved within Mendeley Desktop. You can annotate. You can also highlight. Okay, using a particular color. Let's come back to my library. Now on to a particular a few scenarios. I want to use these two sources. Let us say one is by Yingting Zhang, another is by Mace. These are the two sources which I want to use in this particular article which I am writing. So what I do is I'll take my cursor to the end of the portion, end of the text which has been borrowed, and I'll place a space here, and I'll go to references, and I'll use Mendeley Cytomatic. The first thing you must do is to choose a style. Choose a style. The style drop-down box is available here. There are some styles which you can see here, and there is more styles option by using which you can add more styles. I'll come to that later. For instance, let us assume that we are using American Psychological Association 7th edition. That is a current version or current edition of APA style. I'll choose the style. Then I'll place the cursor at the point of insertion. I'll click on Insert Citation. If I click on Insert Citation, I'll get this box, search by author, title, or year in my library. That means whatever you have saved in Mendeley library, that will appear here. So I'll type Zhang. It matches. If you want multiple references to be inserted, you can insert one more. I'll click on OK since I want only one citation here. Zhang 2012. Okay, it appears here. Similarly, I will insert the second. I'll click on Insert Citation. Choosing the style is a one-time process that you do in the beginning. Okay, then I must remember it. Yeah, Mace. Okay. So as you can see, if the number of authors is more than 2, then et al. Is automatically added. What is the advantage of using Mendeley? Mendeley will take care of formatting your citations as per the chosen style, not only citations, but the references also, so that you need not worry about having to adhere to the rules manually. Okay, assuming that I have inserted all the citations, I will go to the end. I'll type, since this is a APA style, I can type references, and I can click on Insert Bibliography this time. Insert Bibliography, and the bibliography is inserted in the chosen style. So I have chosen American Psychological Association style, in which citation is usually in author date style, and the references are arranged in the alphabetical order of the last name of the first author. So therefore, Mace comes first and Zhang comes second, even though I inserted Zhang first and Mace later. Okay, Fine. So if I change the style from APA to IEEE, you can notice that the order has changed. This is the order of appearance of the citation. You can go to the text and you can see a numerical citation here in square bracket 1 and 2. Okay, accordingly, the reference list has been generated. So it is dynamically changing the formatting as and when we are changing the style here. Okay, so I can change it to any other style to see Mendeley dynamically changing the citation style and the reference style as well. This is how basically you do reference management using Mendeley or any other software that I mentioned. So this is basic skill. Now let me come to certain scenario where Mendeley's power can be harnessed beyond basic reference management. Let me imagine some scenario and let me tell you. Supposing I have already downloaded a few articles, the PDF of few articles on my local folder. I want to fetch the bibliographic details. Should I go to web browser and search for that particular source and then click on add to Mendeley? No. If you already have the files related to certain articles or some other publications, then they can be directly added to Mendeley desktop. Okay, let me demonstrate that to you. I already have some articles downloaded on my local device. Okay, so let me choose one first for the purpose of demonstration. So what I will do is I will simply drag this PDF and I will drop it here in the middle pane. And now you see that not only is the file added, but also the bibliographic details. Okay, the bibliographic details have been added here. Okay, so if you already have downloaded articles, books, conference proceedings, etc., you can directly drag and drop. This is number one. Number two, you can even select an entire folder, whether the number of files is 1 or 10 or 100 or 1000, it doesn't matter. You just have to drag it and drop it, or you can also go to add folder option. Okay, add folder option. Fine. This is in case where before installing Mendeley desktop, you already had some files and you wanted bibliographic details of those files to be saved in Mendeley so that you can use it in other publications for adding citations and generating references. Another question that a researcher gets generally is, what if I download certain articles onto my local device? Can I have an option by which Mendeley automatically detects the newly downloaded articles and adds the bibliographic details of those articles into Mendeley desktop? I hope you are understanding the scenario. The one I showed you, Bryson David, I added, the article was already downloaded. All those articles can be added into Mendeley by drag and drop. Supposing from today onwards, I want Mendeley to keep looking for newly downloaded articles and automatically add those articles and the bibliographic information into my Mendeley desktop, then how should I do? For that, Mendeley has a very useful feature called watch folder. Okay, watch folder. You can set up a particular folder as Mendeley watch folder. Mendeley continuously keep detecting new content, new files in that particular folder. If a new file is found, it will automatically fetch the file and the bibliographic details and add it into Mendeley desktop. This is called watch folder. How to set up a watch folder? Okay, for this, let me make a new folder on the desktop. New additions. Okay, new articles, new downloads, any name you want, you can give. I want to set up this folder as a watch folder in my Mendeley. So I'll go to my Mendeley desktop. I'll click on file. And the third option you have here is watch folder. Click on watch folder. It will give you a watched folder tab. You can set up multiple folders as watched folders, but for the sake of simplicity, I will choose only one folder. Okay, so I'll go to my desktop. Okay, let me find out desktop. Okay, in my desktop, I have got a new additions folder. I'll place a check mark for this folder and I'll click on apply. Okay, nothing will happen now, but I will not add anything to Mendeley. Now you will see, I will add some article into new additions folder. And now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 references are there. I'm going to add 2 or 3 more articles, not to Mendeley, but to watch folder. Let us see what happens. Okay, from downloaded articles, I'm going to copy Glassman, Meles, Salim. I'm going to copy. Assume that you are downloading these files. Okay, I'll go to new additions and I'll paste them. Okay, now you can see Mendeley working at the background here. Glassman, Meles, Salim. Okay, Glassman, Meles, Salim. In real time, Mendeley will fetch the details and will add the document as well as the bibliographic details into Mendeley library. Okay, fine. So this is how a watch folder can be set up. The third question. In Mendeley, Microsoft Word, Mendeley Cytomatic, I have got a handful of styles here. But what if my style is not here? And if I want to add it, then I can go to more styles and I will get this option here, citation styles option. And here you have got installed styles, get more styles, okay, abbreviations and about. If your style, the style you want to use is not available here, you can go for get more styles. You can search for a particular style. Let's say nature biotechnology is not available. I'll go for this style. Okay, I'll click on this. I'll click on install. It is installed. Okay, let me see here. Yeah, okay. So you have to come back to installed tab. And here you've got nature biotechnology. Use this style. Okay, if I go to my Word, Mendeley Cytomatic, and here I have got nature biotechnology. Okay, it forms part of this drop down box now. It was not there earlier. Now we have got nature biotechnology. So this is how a new style can be added to Mendeley. As I mentioned earlier, there are many journals which do not follow either APA or MLA or Vancouver. They have their own styles. There is a big community of developers of Mendeley, which is developing styles for journals, new styles for journals, day in and day out. So we have thousands of styles in Mendeley style library, where you can search and you can add those styles into your Mendeley desktop. Okay, that's about adding a new style. And now I will come to some more scenario. What if I already have some styles inserted already into my document? Okay, for that, I'll take up the first scenario. Yeah, let's take up all this. Okay, this is the second scenario. Let me take up the first scenario. The first scenario is I am a research scholar. I know the rules of certain citation styles. Therefore, before I got to know about Mendeley, I had already formatted the references in a particular style. But because I have manually formatted, I cannot use this in multiple documents. I want to use these references in multiple documents, the multiple publications which I'm writing, multiple articles or chapters which I'm writing. So in such case, you may have to import these references into Mendeley desktop so that they become usable in any number of documents by using Mendeley desktop. Okay, fine. So the scenario is I already have some references manually formatted. I want to import them into Mendeley desktop. Okay, this is the scenario. Many of you might have completed your doctoral research a few years ago by manually formatting all the citations and references. And today you may want to make use of those references in other writings. Therefore, you may want to save these references into Mendeley. So how to save manually formatted references into Mendeley? Okay, so I'll take you to the simplest method. Okay, importing formatted bibliographies. I'll do a Google search. Okay, here I come to an article which explains how to import formatted bibliographies. Even though this belongs to Zotero knowledge base, it is equally useful for Mendeley as well. Okay, I'll click on this article. I'll take you to this article. At your leisure, you can read all the steps. But I'll take you to this portion. Plain text citations and bibliographies. Plain text. Manually formatted bibliographies. So references are plain text bibliographies. So how do I import manually formatted bibliographies or references into Mendeley? For this, we will use a website, a service called AnyStyle, anystyle.io. Okay, I'm going to open this site, anystyle.io. Anystyle.io will parse through the references that you're going to paste here, will identify the different bibliographic elements, and it will give you a BibTeX file, BibTeX, in the LaTeX format. So that is the most suitable format for us to import any reference into Mendeley. So let's see how to use this. First, you need to paste your references here for anystyle.io to parse through. Okay, first I'll take up the manually formatted references. I'm going to copy these manually formatted references. Okay, copy. And I'm going to paste here. Okay. Please keep in mind that your manual formatting should be very accurate for anystyle.io to parse and detect the bibliographic elements successfully. I have accurately formatted for the purpose of this demonstration. So it says parse 9 references. Okay, I'll click on this button. It will identify the different bibliographic elements such as author, date, title, journal, volume, issue, etc. Okay, so if there is any editing, you can edit and you can save either as CSL, JSON or BibTeX or XML. I'll go for BibTeX. I'll click on BibTeX. Okay, it is asking me to save this file. The file name is anystyle.bib. It's a .bib file, BibTeX file. Okay, I'll click on save. I'll click on save, and the file is saved on my desktop, anystyle.bib. Okay, fine. Now you will see that there are 9 references to be added. There are already 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 references. I'll go to file menu and I'll go to import. There are 3 options. You can either use BibTeX, or you can use XML, or you can use Research Information System format, RIS. Okay, this time, since I have downloaded BIB, I'll click on BibTeX. I'll choose the file and I'll click open. And you can see that all the 9 references have been brought into Mendeley. What is the advantage now? The advantage is you can use any of these references in any number of your articles or chapters easily. And you can even change the style. Mendeley will dynamically take care of reformatting the citation and the reference entry accordingly. Right, so this is how you can import manually formatted references into Mendeley. Okay, in case you need it. The second scenario is, supposing you are so far using the inbuilt tool, that is Microsoft Word Citations and Bibliography Manager, and you have formatted these according to Microsoft Word Citation and Bibliography Manager. Here you find Citations and Bibliography Manager. Okay, now you want this to be imported to Mendeley. For this, you may have to install a small file in a particular location. Okay, let me show it to you. Citations inserted using Microsoft Word's built-in citation feature. What should you do? First, you need to download an XSL file. It's an XML style sheet file. And you need to place this file, copy this file in a particular location. If you are using Microsoft Word 2010, go to C, Program Files, Office version, Bibliography style, and paste the downloaded file into that location. So let me download it. Okay, here is bibtex.xsl. Okay, I'll save it. I'll save it, and let me close this because it will conflict with Microsoft Word if it is kept open. I'll close this. Now I will need to keep it. Okay, here I have got bibtex.xsl file downloaded. I'll copy this. Since I'm using Microsoft Word 2010, I will go to C, Program Files x86, Microsoft Office 14. This is the version of my Office. Then I'll go to Bibliography and Style. Bibliography style. Here you have got a different style files. I'm going to paste bibtex.xsl file. So I'm going to paste it. You may have to give administrator permission. It is pasted. You can see bibtex.xsl file. If I open Microsoft Word now, and if I go to references, and here I get a new style, BibTeX export style. This was not there earlier. Now it has appeared. Okay. So I'm going to open this file in which I have got references formatted according to Microsoft Word inbuilt citations and bibliography manager. I'm going to go to references, citations and bibliography. I'll choose the style BibTeX export. BibTeX export. Once I click on this, all the references will be changed to BibTeX format. So I'm going to copy from line number 1 up to the last closing brace. I'm going to copy, and save this as a BIB file. Okay. I'm going to open Notepad, paste it, paste the copied portion, remove any extra lines, file, save as. On the desktop, I'm going to name it. Okay. Word.bib. This is important. .bib. You have to save it as a BibTeX file because Notepad generally stores any file as a text file, .txt file. You need to deliberately put .bib. Okay, I can also even go for all files. Okay, save it, close this. Now the importing is easier. I've got word.bib here. I'll go to Mendeley. I'll go to file, import, BibTeX, and choose word.bib, open it, and all these references have been imported. Okay, so scenario number 2, importing references from Word built-in citations and bibliography into Mendeley. Okay, the third and the last scenario is in case all these days you were using another reference management software, such as Zotero, and you switch to Mendeley desktop and you want all the references to come from Zotero to Mendeley. That can be used, that can be done easily. Go to Zotero, use export option, use RIS or BibTeX, save it, save all the references into single file, come to Mendeley, import it. That is number 1. But a tricky situation is your friend, let's say your collaborator, your co-author has sent a file. Your co-author is using Zotero. You are using Mendeley, and he has inserted the citation and generated references using Zotero. Okay, if that is the case, how do you do that? Let's say Zotero formatted citation. Okay, now let me show you the parts here. Here you have got the parts citations where the Zotero software has been used, and you don't see the reference list here. So how do you import the references hidden in a document which have been inserted using Zotero? Okay, for that, I'll take you to the page here. For citations inserted using a reference manager, we use a tool called Reference Extractor. What will Reference Extractor do? Reference Extractor will take out the references which are inserted inside a document which are not visible to you, and it will extract only the references from the text. So I'll click on Reference Extractor. I'll go to that website. It will ask you the input file. So the input file I have just shown you. I'm going to choose the file. Here is the input file, Zotero formatted file. I'll open it. You can see that already it has detected 10 references and it has extracted. I'm going to save only the references, preferably in BibTeX. I'm going to download. Okay. Yeah, let it be refextracts.bib, save it. Now you know the formula. Go to file, import, and BibTeX. This time I'll choose refextracts and click open. Okay, so all the references have been imported. So Mendeley has a lot of options. Okay. You can perhaps choose some. Lastly, how to generate a working bibliography. Supposing you are a research scholar and your research supervisor asks you to submit a working bibliography as on today. Working bibliography includes a list of sources that a particular researcher is reading, studying, consulting at any point in time at present. So you can generate your working bibliography dynamically in Mendeley. So how do I do that? First, you need to start showing these as citations, okay, as references. So I'll go to view. First, I'll choose citation style. It can be Nature Biotechnology, or I'll go for American Psychological Association. This is the chosen style. Then I'll go to view, library as citations. Library means the collection of saved references. So I'm viewing this as a table column wise until now. I want to view this as citation. So I'll click on this and you will get formatted citation. Okay. So I will click on formatted citation column to sort it. Okay. I'll select all. I can copy, then export or as bibliography. No, let me copy. Let me copy this, and then let me come to and paste it here. This is going to be as on 11th August 2021. Remember, working bibliography may change from time to time, from day to day. So if you have already consulted a particular source, want to remove it from the bibliography, then your bibliography is bound to change. So this is how a working bibliography also can be prepared at any point in time in specific style, whichever style your research supervisor wants it in. So perhaps I have covered almost all the features of Mendeley desktop. I think I will stop here and I will open the floor for discussion, interaction, suggestions, comments. Anything you want to share, you may please share. That's all from my end. I would like to conclude my demonstration here in order to make some time for interaction. Thank you very much for listening to me. You've been a wonderful audience. Thanks to again Kodandarama and Dr. I.R.N. Gowder sir for recommending me for this session. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir. Firstly, I would like to congratulate you on your successful presentation. It was very informative and effective. Most of our participants have been impressed by your presentation and they have requested me to collect the PPT from you, and in turn I can share that with them. So hopefully I'll be getting the PPT from you after this session.
Sure.
Yeah. Now, participants, if you are having any questions, please post in the chat box. I will take it up for the discussion with the resource person. I think I saw one question. Let me search it. Yeah, the question asked by Zonalola Subbareddy is, how does this EndNote software differ from Mendeley?
Yes. EndNote differs a lot from Mendeley right from its coverage. EndNote is basically a commercial reference management solution earlier provided by IBM, now taken over by Clarivate Analytics. So EndNote is a lot more comprehensive. It provides seamless integration between and among reference management software. But for a researcher who does not have complex reference management needs, a software such as Zotero or Mendeley should do. But the advantage of using Mendeley is that Mendeley has an integration with Mendeley online account. So it has a huge corpus of literature already in place in Mendeley online account. So whatever references were automatically added when I dragged and dropped the documents, they were basically fetched from Mendeley.com. If a particular reference is not available on Mendeley.com, then Mendeley will search in other sources. Therefore, there is a lot of difference. One difference being Mendeley is a free software. EndNote is a commercial solution. EndNote also has a inbuilt integration with LaTeX. Okay, not just Microsoft Word, with LaTeX, with LibreOffice, with OpenOffice. So being a commercial solution, it is bound to offer better service. But Mendeley is offered free of cost. So Mendeley can be a better starting point if you happen to have complex needs of reference management. Then if you are an avid user of LaTeX, then I prefer you use a software like EndNote. An open source alternative for LaTeX users will be JabRef instead of Mendeley.
Yeah, another question asked by Mr. Vishwak is, in reference, do we have to incorporate DOI or the volume number and issue number of the source will be sufficient?
No, my answer is only volume number and issue number will be sufficient only if the source is available in print. So as you know, the digital object identifier is assigned to a document available online. Therefore, if you are citing an online source, an online document, which has a DOI, as per the style, DOI has to be included. If the style which you are using for citing and referencing does not mandate the inclusion of DOI within the reference, then it need not be included.
Yeah, another question raised by Mr. Sagar. Is it possible to cite a web sources or website content using the Mendeley software, or do we have to cite it manually?
Perhaps I need better clarity on it. Website content. See, every.
He means to say website, I think.
Yes, it is possible. It is possible to include a website. Okay, I mean, since I was addressing an audience consisting of research scholars, I preferred demonstrating only using journal articles, even books, book chapters. But even an entire website can be cited.
Okay. And then another question is it possible to rearrange the references just like EndNote does in Mendeley?
What exactly does the respondent mean by rearranging? Do you mean organizing? Yes, I showed you that you can create folders. You can move references to specific folders such as PhD chapter 1, chapter 2, journal article. You can move them. Okay, so they will get organized systematically. Once you insert the citations from a particular folder alone, then only those will be generated in the references.
I think that's all, sir. I think you almost answered all the questions raised by the participants, which are very relevant to your topic. So with this, I would like to sincerely thank you for giving us an enlightening lecture today. So I request you to please accept our thanks on behalf of PSE and participants as well for the time and effort to cast your knowledge upon us on managing references with the help of Mendeley. So I once again thank you for being a part of our program, and your presence in the program has really added a great value to our program. Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Ram, and I'm grateful to PES College of Engineering, Mandya, and Kodandram and Dr. I.R.N. Gowda, sir, and all the participants for listening to me and interacting through the questions. Thank you very much. Have a very productive week ahead in this FTP. Thank you very much.